So I want to talk to you today about Zethar specifically, and this can be any smart contract, but I'll show Zethar as an example. Oftentimes you'll see with these smart contracts, you'll see that if you look at your account balance will have the same amount of Ether value. Like you'll say, it'll say, your account's worth 1 or 2 Ether, but you'll see your US dollar value keep going up and down. And if you're brand new, you're like, I don't understand. Why is that happening? This is something that I've had to explain to people over and over again. So I figured I'd just make a video, partially for those that are my subscribers, but partially for in the future, if I need to explain it to someone, I can just direct them to this video. Another thing that you may see that the ETH balance remains the same, but your account USD balance goes up or down. And how is that possible? Or you might see that the ETH balance goes down, meaning that it takes less and less, your account is worth less and less Ethereum. But all of a sudden, your US dollar value is going up. What's going on? In order to understand how this works, it's important that you understand how smart contracts are valued and the relationship to the US dollar. So smart contracts are valued. In fact, this might make hopefully this will help you make the point. Smart contracts are valued, or the token for the smart contract, such as the Zethar token, is valued in Ethereum. So you may have, let's just keep the numbers round. You may have 100 tokens, and your 100 tokens might be worth 1 Ether. Now this is just for illustration purposes. By the way, none of this is investment advice. These are just my opinions. I'm just, learning, having fun, hoping to educate a little bit, but you've got to do your own research. Just consider this kind of a starting point. So if you have 100 tokens and those 100 tokens are worth 1 Ether currently, then you know that if all of a sudden, for whatever reason, the token price drops, then your 100 tokens could one day be worth, say, 0.5 or half an ETH. Now that may make total sense to you, because also your token value could go up, and instead of being 100 tokens being worth 1 ETH, maybe one day they're worth 1.5 Ethereum. And this is no different than anything else going up. I mean, if you buy gas and it goes up at the gas pumps, and you know that 1 gallon of gas costs more dollars. If the gas price drops, 1 gallon of gas costs less dollars. The difference is these tokens, since they are ERC, like Zethar, Zethar is a ERC20 token on the Ethereum blockchain. It takes Ethereum to buy the token. Therefore, the price is listed in Ethereum. And this is all well and good until all of a sudden you notice that the Ethereum price might be going down, but all of a sudden your US dollar, oftentimes I'll show the US dollar price in like a parentheses like this, depending on the token. And I'll show you an example of this right here. If you can see this right here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not it. Where's it at? Sorry, that wasn't it. Oh, right here, duh. If you can see this right here. Buy price, 1 token's worth 0.00244 Ether, which is currently approximately 81 cents. But it's possible that you could see 1 token be worth 0.00244 Ether, and you could see this number change to 91 cents. How does that happen? Well, let me just explain this so it's super simple for you, hopefully. Ethereum can be priced in USD. It's actually priced in BTC on most exchanges, but I don't want to go there and confuse you. There is always a relative price of Ethereum. So for example, here you are on CoinMarketCap. By the way, we've got over 1,800 different cryptocurrencies right now on CoinMarketCap. That's way up. Okay, so right now, 1 Ethereum is worth approximately $331 for 1. This number has been as high as $600 and beyond, and yesterday it was down closer to, I think, $315. So what can happen is if the US dollar, if Ethereum goes up in US dollars, if all of a sudden, let me make this very crystal clear for you. If all of a sudden this price doubles, 1 Ethereum becomes worth $662, then what would happen right here is this token that is still priced in Ethereum, 0.00244 Ethereum. Since one Ethereum now costs $662, then that means that this relative price here in USD would double. The same amount of Ethereum doubled here. One Ethereum now costs $662. Then this fraction of Ethereum, 0.00244 Ethereum, also when it would go up to $162. I'm sorry, $1.62. So you can see, and that's if Ethereum stays the same. So even if the price of the token in Ethereum drops a little bit, but the US dollar value of Ethereum goes up, then that's why you will sometimes see this number stay the same. This USD number go up even though your price in Ethereum went down. Let me give you another example of what's currently going on. Right now, Ethereum in the past couple of days has dropped a lot, like 20 or 30% in the past 2 or 3 days. So a lot of these smart contracts I've noticed haven't moved a lot in price, but your value here is dropping. For example, assume this does not even change. However, all of a sudden, if Ethereum was to drop by half, and this became like, $165 roughly. If that happened, then what you would see here is all of a sudden this would now be worth about 40 cents. Same amount of Ethereum. Even though it's still, the one token is still worth 0.00244 Ethereum, the US dollar value would be 41 or 40 cents. And I know that sounds simple, but I get questions about this oftentimes, when I'm trying to explain this to people. And I just had someone contact me and said, wow, the value of my smart contracts have gone down. And I said, what smart contract are you referring to? And when he told me, I said, no, it's actually pretty stable right now. What's happened, and he's looking at the US dollar amount of his account. I said, the price of Ethereum is dropping. That's the problem. And that really is part of the risk in the smart contracts that are based off the Ethereum blockchain. Whatever blockchain your smart contract is based off of, you carry some risk or some reward associated with that blockchain. So, I mean, if the price of Ethereum skyrockets, then again, it could still be 0.00244, but the US dollar value, the fiat, the US currency value would be a lot higher because the price of Ethereum goes up. So the price of your token goes through Ethereum, and whatever the relative price of Ethereum is, and that's if you're trying to look at the USD value. A lot of people can't get out of this US dollar value. Let me show you something else, and I hope this doesn't totally confuse you, but this is a great example. Right here, this is the percent change if you have $100 or $1,000 in cryptocurrency. And all these cryptocurrencies, this is how much it changed. Meaning it went down 0.33% in the past 24 hours. It went up 4.49%. Meaning you can buy with the same $1,000, you would buy 4.49% less Bitcoin today than you did yesterday. Or you could buy 0.33% more because the value went down, so your dollar would buy just a little more. Right here, since the price went down in US dollars, you could buy a little more. If a gallon of gas went down, if a gallon of gas was $2, but it went down to $1.50, your same $2 would buy a little more gas because now gas is only valued at $1.50. I hope you're following how this works. And for some of you, this is a no-brainer, but it's important. Not everyone understands this. And I want my channel to be newbie friendly, hopefully. I want you, if you're a new person, I want you to be able to understand new to cryptocurrencies, that this makes sense to you. So this is priced in US dollar, but watch something. If you change this to Bitcoin, so now if you own $1,000, or if you owned one Bitcoin, that's the best way to explain it. If you own one Bitcoin, then the price of one Bitcoin against one Bitcoin is 0%, because you buy one Bitcoin with one Bitcoin is 1. However, the price in Ethereum has went down by 4.6%. Ripple 6.5%, Bitcoin Cash 2.3%. Notice the difference. And you're saying, why do all these numbers look different? Because it's assuming that you're holding Bitcoin today and you wanted to buy Ethereum. This is how much Bitcoin it would cost. This is how much Bitcoin it would cost. This is how much Bitcoin it would cost. You could do the same thing with Ethereum. How much is in Ethereum? How much does one Ethereum cost? 1. It's like 1 times 1 is 1. But it takes 19.4 Ethereum to buy 1 Bitcoin. That's gone up, meaning it takes a little more, it takes almost 5% more Ethereum to buy the same Bitcoin. This is showing you price in Ethereum. We'll go back to USD. So it's important to understand when you're trying to figure out why my account USD value is changing. If my Ethereum to token value hasn't changed, then you just have to ask yourself, well, how much has Ethereum changed against the USD? And be careful. It's really a good habit to start looking at your account in Ethereum values, because it gets confusing trying to look at USD values. I know you're still going to do it. We still tend to be fiat-based or euro-based or USD-based society. We always want to look at our mainstream currency. But it's easier if you look at, it's easier to understand, how has my actual token itself performed? If the Ethereum value has not went down, then the token is doing all right. It's not the token's not the issue. It's Ethereum's gone down. So I hope that makes sense to you. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. Now, with that being said, one thing I'll tell you, I use Ether as an example. Now, I'm not personally, I haven't invested anything in the Ether, and I'll tell you mainly why. It's just a gaming platform, and there's nothing wrong with that. But long term, I mean, this is a space that could be highly regulated. It already is regulated, so when you start looking at Ether, it's something to think about. So far, this is only a gaming platform. These are just it's only a gaming platform as far as I understand. The other thing is this Ether's been heavily pre-mined, which means that also there's only 6,000 Ether in the contract, which means the total, what does this mean? This means the total amount of people who have purchased Ether coins, the total amount has spent only 6,181 Ether. Now, I'm not saying that's a small number. That number is big. Multiply it by, just over $300. That's a big number. But there are others much more well-established smart contracts. The thing with Ether, though, two things really for me isn't how small it is, because it's always good to be early. It's that it's strictly a gaming platform. I think the smart contract space has so much more potential than gaming. And also, the other thing is the heavy pre-mine. I think there's like 60 or 80% of the tokens were pre-mined, meaning the developers are holding them, which makes it a strong money grab for the developers. I don't have a problem with developers making money, but you just gotta you gotta make certain the developers line up with you. And I tend to be in this space kind of a long-term buyer. I mean, I'm buying, I'm holding, I'm buying, accumulating, holding, buying, accumulating, and holding. And I have to hope there's some stability in place for me to do that. And when you see a large developers holding, sometimes that means stability. Sometimes it's a money grab. Sometimes they're just looking to sell tokens. You just never really know. When you combine that with the fact that it's strictly a gaming platform, then I want to see something a little more than that. There's other ones out there, Linea, however you say it. This one is even smaller, I think. I don't even know if they show it. Yeah, 151 in the contract. I guess that's awesome if you want to be early. And I actually like this one. I actually bought one ETH in this one. I haven't talked about it, but I actually did. And the reason I haven't talked about it is because I wanted to see if they were going to do anything, and I don't see them doing anything right now. Again, it looks like it's just going to be another gaming platform. That's a little disappointing. But there's no pre-mine. There was no pre-mine here. So I wanted to see what was going to happen. It said gaming and entertainment platform. And I thought, well, let's see what happens with this. Because the entertainment thing is what kind of got me. But it looks like it's just going to be gaming. But we'll see. And I just put in one ETH and just kind of, I've watched it. And I'm not doing a whole lot with it. I'm just kind of watching it. And see if they actually develop and do anything. It's very early. That ETH could be flushed down the toilet. This space is, what I like to do is I get into, I kind of get in and I kind of watch what happens, and then I just start building a position if I want to. I knew I was very, very early on this one, and I really, going into it, the only thing, there's a YouTuber who mentioned how transparent they seem to be, because basically they contacted him to get him to advertise their channel, and he tried to charge them, and they basically said, look, we can't, there's no way we can like give you, you know, Ethereum, so to speak, because it's in the contract, so on and so forth. Then later on, they supposedly gave him some Linea tokens or whatever. I don't know if that's from the developers directly themselves or whatever, but supposedly there's no pre-mine, there was no, you know, supposed to be no extra tokens. I'm not sure how all that worked, so I thought, let me just check it out. Not terribly thrilled with it. I'm going to write it out and watch it. If you follow my channel at all, you know, really, Proof of Weekends 3D is by far the smart contract that I'm paying the most attention to, that I have the most hope for. They also are in the gaming space. However, by the way, one P3D is currently worth 3,286 Ethereum. There's something like, oh, I don't even know. Oh, right here, 48,000 Ethereum in the contract, not 6. I've been in this thing since below, just below 4,000 Ethereum in the contract. So I have ridden this one up a little bit. They've proven themselves. Here's the biggest thing about P3D. When I say they've proven themselves to be original developers. They've got original ideas. They've got an API. The API is being instituted on other websites, ETHORS currently, and there's I guess there's talks with a couple more. We'll see. Currently, they're the leaders in the smart contract virtual deposit type space, and I'm continuing to watch what they do. I really like P3D, so I'm definitely going to continue following them, that's for sure. However, if you get nothing else out of this video, I just want you to understand kind of how the pricing works from your token. We can say token. From your token to Ethereum to USD. It's because if you see the USD dollar value going up and down and you're trying to wonder why, it's either because the token's going up and down related to Ethereum, or it's Ethereum's going up and down related to the USD. And once you wrap your brain around that, looking at your account is going to make you understand what's going on a lot better. Quite honestly, you probably shouldn't be investing a whole lot in this space until you can at the very least understand how your tokens are being priced and what's happening with your account. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this has been helpful for you. Hope you got some value out of this. And if anyone asks you questions about their account and what's going on and they can't understand the pricing, you can just send them straight to this video. Hit that subscribe button down below, hit that thumbs up notification, hit that thumbs up icon, hit that bell notification so you can know as soon as I put out another video. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. By the way, what is your favorite smart contract? Just put it down in the comments below. Please don't include a link. I will delete those comments. Just include the name alone of your smart contract. Is it one of the three I've listed here? Is it another one? Just list the name below. And let's see what most people are, what smart contracts most people are aware of, and what smart contracts are most people following, and which ones do they like the best. Thank you so much for watching.